Charles Okeibunor. I'm a relationship management expert and I'm also a lawyer. And today we're going to be talking about the legal side of business. Is there a legal side to business? What are decisions you need to take before you set up a business? What are different kinds of businesses? And more importantly, haven't asked yourself what are different kinds of businesses? How do I go about registering my business? It's a legal side of business. You can never have a business without a legal side, except of course it's an illegal business. So essentially you want to ask yourself, is this business legal? Is this idea within the ambit of what is right? Will the law protect me in the course of doing my business? These are fundamental questions you need to ask. And as soon as you establish that this business is legal, this business will be protected by the law, then you know you have a sustainable business that you can run with. You want to ask yourself also, how do I know whether a business is legal or illegal? The first thing, you need to consult with a lawyer. You need to ask him questions. I have an idea. The question that you're asking is premised on the fact that your idea must be a sellable idea. For example, you might have an idea and yet you don't have the resources to drive the idea. And you might have the resources only to find out that the purview within which you are operating is not illegal, but it is government controlled. And so, for example, printing money. Okay, you might have a fantastic idea because you suddenly realize that the currency in Nigeria is always dirty. I say I want to go into printing money. You realize that, well, it is not the sort of business you open a side shop to do. So essentially, that's just on the flip side. You want to ask yourself the question: what kinds of business can I register? And in registering my business, what types of registrations are available? When you consult with a lawyer, the first thing he will tell you is that there are different kinds of business registrations. There's the business name, there's a limited liability company, there is a company, business, social business, limited by guarantee. There are partnerships. You want to ask yourself, how does my business fit in? Let's start from the business name. The business name is, in other words, called the sole proprietorship. For example, you'll find that in the sole proprietorship, only one person, they call it the one-man business. So you have a sole proprietor who sets up a business, he has an idea, he develops it, and then he gets a registration certificate from the Corporate Affairs Commission. When you're registering a business name, you do not need shareholders. When you're registering a business name, you do not need a share capital. All you need is a tangible idea which you can drive, an idea that you can project to the world, an idea that generates money, and a name. So starting off, you need to ask yourself, what kind of name do I want my business to be branded as? Because your name becomes the very basic fulcrum with which you can relate with the world. So you can name it after yourself, you can name it after an acronym, you can name it after a friend, you can name it after a memory. So many names you see today are some of them are a coinage of different names, and you find out also that some of them also are the names are owned by the people. So you see Dangote Farms, Dangote, Aliko Dangote, that's his name. But when you hear UBA, it's not the name of anyone, but in actual fact, it was developed or conceptualized after some other idea that has developed or informed the development of the business. So first, choose a name, go to the Corporate Affairs Commission and find out whether that name has been chosen by another person. Why? Because if you have a name that is already used by another person, then you are not qualified to use that name. It will be called passing off. You don't need to pass off someone else's name. There will be a conflict. So when people hear a very similar name, so you open your business, so assuming your business is ABC Nigeria Limited, and you say, oh yeah, well, the name of my son is Ahmed, the name of my daughter is Bimbo, the name of my third child is Charles, so ABC. By the time you put that in the Corporate Affairs Commission, they tell you there is also an ABC Nigeria Limited. Nobody's going to want to register it because people would mistake one for the other. When you pass through that stage of choosing a unique name, a name that has no conflict at all whatsoever, the next step you need to take is to register it. So in a business name, you pick a name that is unique, the name has been approved by the Corporate Affairs Commission, and then you file in your documents. What documents do you need? If you're saying that you want to go into tailoring, you want to go into real estate, sometimes you may not need to file in any proficiency certificate. But if you say that you want to do a specialized business will be, for example, you say, well, this is a legal outfit. They would ask you for your legal certificate. If you say, well, I want to open a pharmacy shop, they're going to ask you for your patent certificate. They want to know whether you have you've registered with the requisite authorities and organizations that qualify people to render the kind of business that you're talking about. So if that doesn't apply, the Corporate Affairs Commission will have no hesitation in registering your business. So as soon as you have registered your business and you have a certificate, you're good to go. You don't need to have a physical, a big or a humongous office, so to speak. The first thing you want to ask yourself is secure a name that is not conflicted. That's for a business name. What about a limited liability company? A limited liability company is slightly different from a business name. In this case, you need shareholders, you need directors. Why? In a business name, as a sole proprietor, you are the one and only, and the only one. You are the alter ego of the company. A lot of people will relate with the company through you. A lot of people will associate with the company through you. The company is not an independent person. But when you now register a limited liability company, that business concern is a special and a separate entity from those who have shares in it and those who direct it. Now, you ask yourself, what is the essence of a director and a shareholder? A shareholder has a stake in the business, subscribes to the business by way of investment. But a director directs or uses his or her expertise to make sure that the business succeeds. So a shareholder does not necessarily mean to be a director, and a director does not necessarily mean to be a shareholder. The essence of a limited liability company means that you create a structure around your business. So the Corporate Affairs Commission want to look at the directors to find out, do the directors have the requisite qualification to run this business? If you say it's a consulting business, they want to know what proficiency certificate you have. At the moment they find that out, they want to look at the shareholders. Now, for a business proprietorship, for example, only one person can do it. No shareholders, no directors. They believe that you are the be all and end all. But in a limited liability company, they separate them. And for shareholders, anyone can be a shareholder in a limited liability company. What do I mean? Even a 1-year-old child can be a shareholder in a limited liability company, but he cannot be a director. A director must have attained the age of majority, must have also been such a person who is not bankrupt, such a person who is not a minor, like I said, such a person who is not involved, who is legally qualified to run or associate himself with a business. But when it comes to the shareholders, children can be shareholders in a business. They are not the directing minds, remember. And so for limited liability company, there's what they call a cap. That cap essentially is what they call the share capital. What's the share capital? What is the limitation of this business? What is the liability within which this business can be limited? You'll find out that some companies, 1 million share capital, 2 million, 10 million. Sometimes the Corporate Affairs Commission specifies. For example, if you want to open a security company, they could say 15 million share capital. If it is a bank, for example, many of us remember the tsunami, the 25 billion capital base. So those things are informed or are required in opening a limited liability company. But it doesn't matter if it's a business name. Now, limited liability companies are separated into also public liability companies and private liability companies. Public liability companies are companies where they have more than 50 shareholders. So the public come and subscribe to the shares. But a private limited company, liability company, they don't have to be more than 50. There must be a limited number. Essentially, the public limited company is quoted on the stock exchange. So anytime you see a company where you see only limited, you know it's a private limited company. But when you see PLC, you know it is a public limited company. Those are essentially the two common kinds of businesses that you can set up. Whether you have the business that is limited by guarantee. When I say limited by guarantee, I am talking about businesses which are described within the context of persons who do not want to make any profit. For example, they are saying this business, every profit that is generated from this business is plowed back into the common good of the business. So you call them social enterprises. Now, if you look at the three different kinds of businesses that we have talked about, you also ask yourself, what are the segments? Number one, to set up a business, you must make sure it's legal. Number two, to set up a business, you must decide whether it's a business name or a limited liability company. Each of these matter before you take that first step, because the very beginning is very much important to how it ends. Thank you. My name is Charles Okeibunor, CEO IRMP Consulting. This is the Business Talk with KJO, a business entrepreneurship program that drives you from the A to the Z of all that you need to know about business. And don't forget also, there's the secret. Wisdom Business Success contains secrets about business. If you look at chapter 10, it tells you to discover your niche. This is one book that will make a lot of value and difference to what you do and how you do it. Thank you very much.